Okay, what is up, you guys? I know there's been some like, what the hell's going on? Why haven't you posted any sex stories or anything? So I will give you guys a timeline of what's been going on in my personal life and also what's going to be happening next. Okay, so first things first, I received a comment on one of my videos, which video I do not know, and YouTube said it was not an appropriate comment or something, so my channel is now being investigated, I guess you could say. Nothing crazy has happened, like I still have my channel, thank God, but I guess I'm gonna have to be a little bit more careful of how I post things, and like I guess now that YouTube's literally up my ass I need to be a little bit more careful. So this does mean that is going to be a little bit of a change to the sex stories. I don't know what that change is. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing sex stories. I want to keep doing sex stories, but if it's going to be too complicated, then we're just gonna move on to something else. Okay, I went ahead and got my nipples pierced. It's been something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I've always just kind of like pushed it, like I'll get it done eventually. So I guess let me tell you how I ended up here. So my tattoo artist, who has been working on me with my whole arm, my sleeve, he sadly was involved in a horrible motorcycle accident, and he needs to be in bed rest. Well, not bed rest, just resting for the next 3 months. So all the appointments that I had scheduled with him had to now be, I can't even say rescheduled, just because he doesn't even know when he's going to be able to go back into the tattoo shop and start working again. He's alive, thank God. But that also really put me in a state where I'm like, oh, that's a bummer, because I always loved going into the shop and just, you know, getting new ink and like working together, because me and him really work a lot together, and making sure that like my tattoo that I want is very understanding at what he's gonna draw, and then I'll give him like my ideas, and then he gives me his ideas, and then we kind of meet in the middle, which I think is the best way to get a tattoo, is when you get your state of creativity and your tattoo artist and meet in the middle and come up with an amazing piece. But sadly, that is not something that you just sit down, have a consultation, and I mean, if you're getting something small, sure. But if you're getting something bigger, the amount of details that I told him that I wanted, I was like, I really want details. I really want people to just see the tattoo and kind of have a story. So obviously that takes a lot more time to just sit down and talk, and you know, like we would DM each other and be like, this is, you know, I like this, I don't like this. And so me and him have gotten very, very close just because we have been communicating more. Okay. So then finding out, like we had a session, I was going to have a session with him in November, I believe. We were going to finish my sleeve, well, almost finish my sleeve, because there's still more things that I want to add to it. And then we're going to like add small little like details to kind of fill in the gaps. So when I found out that he could not tattoo me, because he didn't reach out to me to tell me what happened, I did know that something was going on, just because he wasn't posting stuff frequently. So I was just like bummed out, just because I look forward to like go to the tattoo shop, and like I've become friends with everyone that works there pretty much. Everyone kind of knows me now. So I won't be able to go in until maybe January. I'm not really sure. It's all gonna depend on what he tells me. We're just both kind of just like, whenever he is ready, we're gonna, you know, go ahead and start working on the next tattoo. So that really also got me in a very low state of mind. Just because I'm a person who really cares, and obviously the first thing I thought about was like, oh my God, are you okay physically? And he told me, yes, I'm fine, thanks for asking. And I've been keeping up like, hey, are you okay? Like, just making sure he's fine. Because I do care, and he's a person that I really care for. Okay, so that happened, and so since I was feeling so down, I was like, you know what, since I can't get, I mean, I could get these tattoos done by someone else, but I don't cheat on my tattoo artist. Like, if me and him already talked about this, and we've been talking about it, planning it out, and he already has pretty much a sketch, like somewhat of a sketch, I just can't go to someone else and be like, draw what my tattoo artist, my other tattoo artist was drawing. I can't do it. Unless it's like a brand new tattoo, then yeah, I'm okay with, like, if me and him didn't like have a consultation and like there was somewhat of a sketch being made, I would go ahead and go with someone else. You know, I mean, there's so many amazing, talented tattoo artists here in Atlanta, which is amazing. But it's like, I trust him and I'm willing to wait. So my nipple piercings have been something I've wanted to do for, and I'm talking about for years. Like, I'm talking about years. Something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do the dimples, but like I've done it with everything, all of my tattoo artists, and I mean, all of my tattoos and all of my piercings, I do research. So obviously, years of doing research, and if, you know, listening to all the pros and all the cons and everything, I said, okay, I'm gonna have to pick either or, and I'm gonna go with the nipples. I didn't go with the dimples because I've heard they just don't heal, they can leak if you're eating a soup, and so I'm like, I really don't want to deal with all that crap. Like, how ugly is it that you're like, have full-on makeup face, right, and then you're like, I don't know, on a date and you're eating and then drool, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just ain't cute. Like, it's just not cute. So I went with the nipples. Obviously, I was married, and when I told my husband about, the ex-husband about this, he was just not okay with it. Because I told him, like, it's gonna take about a year for it to fully heal. Like, it's gonna have to be like 4 to 5 months that you cannot be around my boob area. And so he was just not having it. He was like, nope, you're not getting that done. And so, I mean, if we were still married, I would have gotten it done regardless. But I just felt like I wasn't ready for it. Like, it wasn't calling me. It wasn't like, oh, let's go. But it was something that I've always wanted to do. So after all these things that were going on in my life, you know, fortunately I got my nipples pierced and then I got sick. So I will tell you guys the story of how all that went down. But I knew I wanted to do it this year. And I was like, I'm going to wait until it starts to get cold. So I knew I was going to either get it done like Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, because that's where my work, like that like single week is always kind of like a little crazy. But then we have like a long break, like where me and my mom are not working. So I said, Thanksgiving's coming up. Work is going to be kind of slow for me that week. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead. I text my piercer. I'm like, hey, Heather, she's pierced me twice, but I just love her so much. Like, because the other piercer that I had, she kind of went off, and I don't know what the hell she's doing now, but she's not a piercer anymore. So I couldn't go to her. And also, where she works at, she charges way too much. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say how it is. So I reached out to Heather. She did my nose the first time, and so I'm like, hey, what shop are you gonna be working at? Because she works at the same business, but they have 2 locations. So she was like, I'm gonna be at this location. I was like, cool. And I told her I want my nipples pierced. So she knew. And y'all, I was committed. So I went really prepared. I went with I guess I'll tell you guys in another video like how the story of my nipples, because I'm pretty sure a whole bunch of you are gonna ask questions, because the amount of people that I've told that I got my nipples pierced have been rolling in with questions like, you know, how much was the pain, and, you know, how much did it cost, and who did it for you, and you know, etc. So because of my nipples, because of my nipple piercings, I really do not want to put myself in lingerie. I don't want to be in the situation where I have to put a pasty on. I don't want to put on like a lace lingerie top, bra, or whatever, and then when I take it off, I completely forget that I have my nipples pierced, and then I, you know, rip it off, because honestly, I'm one of those careless people that just rips things off of me. So I am trying to be as careful as I can. So I don't know when the next sex story will be. I'm gonna be honest with you, most likely next year. So this year we have done a wrap. I did record a video, a sex story. I wasn't feeling it. So I will not be posting it up. But yeah, my nipples are officially pierced, and yeah, I'm excited. They look amazing. If I could show you, I would, but I can't. YouTube would literally bust my ass if I did that. But yeah, so that's why I will not be posting any sex stories anytime soon. But I do have a whole bunch of questions that people have asked me, and I have typed in, and I will literally sit down and answer these questions. I might do like what's in my bag. I do get questions like, where do you get your bags from, and all that stuff, or like, where do you get your t-shirts from? I get questions like that all the time. So I'm gonna do more of like just me sitting down and just you kind of getting to know me. So if you have any questions that you want me to answer, whether they're sex, whether they're about piercings, about tattoos, about my hair. I get questions about my hair all the freaking time. If they're extensions, what color do I use? Do I go to a hairstylist? Like, I get questions all the time, even from my own personal friends that would just want to know things about me. Like, ever since I started doing, sex stories on here, the amount of questions that I get about sex is the funniest thing to me. But I love it. I freaking love it. Like, I get questions like, what's your favorite sex position? And like, they'll whisper it to me because we're in public, and they're like, I don't want everyone else to hear. So, ask away. Your time has come to get to know me a little better. I think I've already done a question and answer. I'm not really sure, but there is one. Look for it. It's in my channel somewhere. But right now I have about 41 questions that I have not answered. So I might do like in parts of like 10, because some of them are like things that I need to explain, and y'all know my ass loves to talk. So like one question is probably going to take about 10 minutes to answer. So I'm sorry, but it is what it is. So there is going to be a little bit of a change to this channel. I might be adding more of true crime. I've been asked about that. Like, what am I going to do with true crime? I am going to do it just a little bit different. Like, I think that the best way for me to like do true crime is for me to like do the research, write it down on a piece of like in a little notebook, and then like sit down, do my makeup, or like do this and like do it like, do it that way. Because I used to have this huge chalkboard, and I would take all the notes there, and then I don't know, it was just too much. Like, it was just too much for me. Like, I'm a Virgo, and I want everything to be kind of perfect, and I would get mad when I would be like writing, and then it was like starting to slant. It was just too much stress for me. I am going to be focusing on a lot more of like cases that people just don't talk about. Like, I really want to focus on a specific like place, meaning like here in Georgia. So I'm gonna most likely just do like Georgia cases. And if like I travel or something, I'll like do whatever state I'm in. But I've been getting asked about that, and honestly, I don't really know the answer like for it, but I feel like this is the best way for me, just because I hate that everyone always talks about the same cases, and no one really like focuses on other cases that are not as popular or not as talked about. So I really want to talk about the cases here in Georgia, because I've run into a few where I'm just like blown away. And I, you know what's so weird to me is like when you're reading an article or whatever, or you're watching a documentary, and you're just like, oh my God, this happened. And then they say the state that you're living in, and you're like, what in the world? Like, that happens to me every fucking time. Like, I don't know why. I think, like, Georgia, nothing happens here in Georgia. It's the South, you know? But, hell no, I'm completely wrong, because a lot of crazy shit be happening here in Georgia. So, I think I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna do, like, a makeup and, like, true crime, or, like, just true crime. I don't know. I will have to see where it takes me. Just because I know my public is mostly men, and I don't think they want to sit down and watch a bitch do her makeup. So I might just do like a sit down and like talk to you about the case, and you know, really focus on the fact that it's a Georgia case. You know, it happened in my backyard type of situation. Don't you guys ever think that? Like, every time I'm like a county that, or city that I live nearby, and I'm like, that's my backyard, what the freak? Like, crazy people. So so yeah, also, I still have not been able to get my passport. I still haven't been able to change my legal name. I'm still waiting on immigration. If you guys knew, if you didn't know, now you know. I was married, I got a divorce, but now I'm like paying for the aftermath of being stupidly blind and taking his name, because now me changing his name to my name is just so time consuming, so expensive, to tell you the truth. So yeah, so sex stories will be happening most likely next year. I don't know when next year, just because I just got them done in December, so my nipples. So like December, January, February, March. March will be 4 months. So maybe March, April, maybe, I'm not sure. It'll just depend on how they're healing. They're doing really good right now. It's only been, what, 3 weeks? Saturday would be 2 weeks. The Saturday coming up will be 2 weeks. So they're healing really well. I am going to do, like, I guess, a story of how I got my nipples pierced. I'm pretty sure someone's going to want to know, and, like, what's my aftercare. I was thinking also doing, like, you know, talking about all my tattoos, like, just talking about tattoos and piercings, because a lot of people do ask me questions about my tattoos and about tattoos and about piercings. You know, a lot of people think that I work at a shop. I don't work at a shop. That would be awesome. If I could literally work at a shop, that would be amazing for me, just because, I don't know, like, I've always wanted to work at a shop. I just never have the confidence to do it. I don't know, like, I feel like I'm one of those people that is, like, super shy when it comes to, like, being in public stuff, like at a shop. Like, I don't know, I would just be really scared to just talk to new people all the time, you know. I'm one of those people that just overthinks everything. It's just who I am. And yeah, so sorry that this is the way it's gonna have to end this year, but it is what it is. So, you know, I was like, I'm single, let me go ahead and get these done, because if I get them done when I'm in a relationship, and the motherfucker is gonna be like, we can't really fuck, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm also gonna have a hard time if I am in a relationship and I get my nipples pierced. Like, honestly, I'm gonna be really plain and bold here with you. I like sex. I love it. Like, it's something that I need constantly. So, and I'm a boob person. Like, I liked my boobs to be touched, and so it would be very difficult for me too if I was in a relationship and I got my nipples pierced. It would just be weird for me. So, since I am single and I'm planning on not dating anybody soon, I was like, let me just go ahead and get this done and yeah. So there are the reasons why I can't film any more sex stories until further notice. That is it. Roll in your questions. I will answer them. And if you guys have any type of content idea that you guys want me to do, whether like if you guys are really interested in me doing true crime, let me know. If you want me to do just, you know, talk about tattoos and piercings and what I think it's good and what I think it's bad, and you know, my opinion, because I do get a lot of questions about that, like, you know, just random ass fucking questions. But I don't mind answering. I have all the time in the world to film, and my dogs are trying to get in, and let you guys know my opinion on stuff, because yeah, why not? So let me know what you guys want to do, and take care. And I hope you guys had a nice Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a nice Christmas and New Year's, and I hope the new year brings you so much love and joy and blessings and etc., you know, financial support, you know, like all that stuff. Whatever you need in life, I hope you receive it in the new year. Yep. That's pretty much it. Bye.